Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. Last episode we completed veteran mode and we unlocked epic difficulty. But now we are back on a veteran mode because we still have quite a number of things that we have to tie up before we can truly move on. But there are a couple of optional, semi-optional side quest things that are still useful to do. So we're gonna do them now and probably in the next episode as well. So first of all, we have to choose a side: Black Legion or the Outcasts. And the thing is, that's actually a false choice, because you can choose Black Legion and the Outcasts. As far as I understand, picking the Outcasts will make the Black Legion dislike you a bit. But because we already have quite some reputation with the Black Legion over here, it doesn't really matter. We can just get that back up higher. Well, we need to kill the Outcast in order to get it outside of quests, but I think we can manage here. So I did buy all the blueprints at the faction vendor in preparation of switching sides, so to say. So we have all of these now, and this is just armor pieces. The next tier is going to be a bit further into the future, so that's going to be until later. But then of course there are augments that could be useful. For now, that's not really going to be it though. So let's have a chat. So what do you want? Kill the witch. I will deal with her, and then inside we will turn sides, and then the soldier's gonna be angry at us. Might have noticed these ingredients in my inventory. I already just double checked. For the first quest we need to hand her a couple of ingredients in order to let her stock up on materials. And of course it's useful to have those, because since they are rare drops. Hello, Anastasia.
My, what a curiosity you are.
So let's not do time to die, because then there's a very high chance that we ourselves will die. So we'll just I will defy reef. So what's wrong? I will gather the ingredients for you. Yes, here they are. Yeah, and it's gonna tell us a bit more lore, and then we will acquire the fangs of the beast that resides in the East Marsh. Which is a coincidence, because that is one of the locations where we still want to go. But the East Marsh is not going to be our very first destination, because we have the Outcasts that we can just passively get some reputation with by doing quests while we are already in the areas that we were going anyway. East Marsh is one of them because there's a devotion shrine. And exactly next to the devotion shrine is the beast that we need to kill for Anastasia, which is one of the reasons why I went with her. Other content, of course, is the hidden path, which will start and the lower crossing somewhere in the bottom right. I think it was maybe better to go from town, because I think it was over there. So let's backtrack one waypoint and then go there. So the hidden path content will take us through most of the game's regions, actually, or at least throughout the acts. So here in Act 1 is the very first guardian that we will have to encounter, and these mobs, they're level 3, they really don't scale along very well, so we're just gonna ignore them. And then, is it over here? I believe it was over here. Or was it a bit further up? It's the hidden path for a reason. It's actually slightly hidden. Ah, yes, there was it. This one I remembered vaguely enough that I figured let's not put up a map for that one. For the other content, I do have some reference material on my other screen. So we'll need some dynamite to clear this. And then dodge the rocks. I don't think we need to dodge the rocks, but sure. So they do a fair amount of acid damage, and they are high level. These are level 47, 48. We ourselves are level 46. So these guys scale very well along with us. So if you come through here expecting the weak mobs from the earlier bit, you will be disappointed. This is just scales along with you. So there's going to be a guardian that we have to defeat here. And then the guardian is going to get us a stone. Magical pebbles for the win. And of course, lots of components from killing monsters. So I think someone might have a bit of a bile issue here. This is just getting gross. The fact that the boss levels along with the area means of course that it's gonna be lethal no matter at what level you actually do this content. So we have to be at our very best. Since this is challenge, I played this once before with my Arcanist and it was rather challenging content. So we should not underestimate this. Good thing is we have a lot of life, fair resists, and a bunch of regen. So we stand a little bit better chance of surviving the encounter than a Arcanist caster has. This is just a random corrupted hero monster. It's responsible for putting all those big green puddles on the floor. Not a big fan of that. Exactly. Not a big fan of that. So we'll just pick our battles, do some retreating here, trigger some regen, and just weave in and out of combat until our target is defeated. Okay, that's that one. And then take care of the other one, and then we go back for our loot. And then we keep looking for the actual boss. Who is there? The Guardian of Dreeg. Dreeg, of course, being one of the forgotten gods. The hidden gods, the ancient gods. And generally being associated with acid, poison, toxicity, things like that. And as you see in our life bar is moving more than the monster's life bar is. So we definitely want to be careful here.
I can't do that yet.
I have to say, initially it appeared like the boss was stronger, but now our life is stabilizing while the monster's life is indeed just lower and lower and lower. And since the very initial bit of the battle where I did drink a life potion and I did trigger Overguard, only now that I'm actually triggering Overguard and a potion again. So it looks like there's stronger abilities on a timer here.
I can't do that yet.
And we have defeated the first of the hidden guardians, Guardian of Dreeg. And of course there's loot. There's always loot. Loot is why we do this. Loot and skill points and attribute points and things like that. So is there any more to loot? Or did we plug this? Ooh, marked rock. And then we get ambushed by crawlers. Double checking, but I believe we have it. The things down there are just really low level content. Yeah, that's not part of this. Over here, it's also clear. Yep. Okay, so the next one is gonna be located in the Broken Hills. So, Broken Hills are over here. And inside of the Broken Hills, we needed to be somewhere in the southwest of it. Okay, I had a reference here. Let me quickly double check. Always nice if you prepare and then realize that you're actually missing a picture of one of the locations. I think it's actually that one. So, visual reference. Somewhere over there. So let's head over there. Let's see, this is level 43, so these guys, they do scale along with us. They're slightly underleveled, so we have already outleveled most of the content, but oh, killing these epics might still provide us with some interesting items. I keep saying epics, they are heroes, not epics. But no matter how we call them, blue items they drop, they are still worth picking up. And even the yellow ones. As I already mentioned in one of the comments, I've got a little bit of a crafting habit. And of course I'm trying to get myself some stash tabs and things like that. So all the money we pick up is going to be used in some way or another. Also buying all the blueprints from the vendors for the first playthrough, of course. It all requires quite some money. That's why picking up yellow items is still a good idea. If this were a more established account, it's not really an account, but you know what I mean, then I would probably have switched my loot filter down here to green already and just ignored yellow items. Just to reduce the amount of clutter that drops, but hey, the money is just too good not to pick things up. Yeah, we go down here, then somewhere down there, down there. And then there is a rock that we have to find / click on. I just realized I haven't even read the lore for the hidden path. That's kind of shameful. We should be reading the lore for this, right? So, welcome, seeker of the truth, to this bastion of knowledge. You have taken your first step along the way to deeper truths, as countless brothers and sisters have before you. The path now presented to you is a treacherous one. You will be persecuted for your practices, hunted like a rodent by the Empire's luminary hounds. But to persevere, to endure the trials that our patron lords have endured, that is the way to true power through this eldritch realm. You stand before the shrine of Dreeg, the oldest of the three witch gods. The great guardian sought to know all, to see the truth behind the veil that blinds us all. In arrogance, or perhaps foresight, he cast aside the ancient warnings and the cautionary words of his peers. Dreeg reached into the veil and witnessed the workings of the gods themselves. For his hubris, he was struck blind. But it was then that his eyes had become truly open. Exposed to the wild magic of the Eldritch realm, he was forever changed. Cruel spines pierced his flesh, acidic blood dripping from the festering wounds for all eternity. What emerged from beyond the veil bore little resemblance to the man that entered. Dreeg was reborn, a god. Dreeg now watches over us all. His peerless gaze pierces through our very souls and sees us for who we really are. To stand before the great guardian is an honor without match. To hear his voice is a blessing from the heavens themselves. If you are indeed deserving of his attention, then follow the way of the three. Travel to the broken lands beyond the Markovian border, where harpies feast on the flesh of the unworthy. Seek a path blocked by stone. If you carry the message of Dreek, the way shall open before you. And this little pebble here is the message of Dreek. So, well, figured now let's at least read the lore bits if we're gonna spend an episode on the hidden path. So, I remember it was somewhere along the bottom side and then we could go through in some way. Are these harpies just ignoring us? I think they are ignoring us. But they're not. Okay. Well, they are level 40, so nothing to sneeze at. Ah, another little bridge. One of the nice things of having a rather tanky build is of course that you can focus more on navigation than on actually on the monsters, and you can get away with it. Let's see. I think I navigated my way through to the Steps of Torment, which is not where we have to go. Was further west. It has turned nighttime. Well, once you find it, it's obvious. If you haven't found it yet, though, it is not. Or was it that little chasm over there? This is the downside of doing some content that you haven't done before and that you can't, or that you have done once before. But that's a little harder to access. Ah yes, it's here. Yeah, I was in the general vicinity. So, Guardian of Solal, I believe, is the next one. Eldritch Life Drinkers. It's gonna be
that skill's not ready.
Glorious. A bunch of vitality damage. Our vitality damage is in a decent state, so that should be okay. Hello there, Guardian of Solal. So this one hurts quite a bit with every hit. But does not feel as sturdy as the Guardian of Dreek, which does make sense. The Guardian of Dreek was more of a tank, as befits Dreek as more of a tanky god.
That skill's not ready.
Solal is more of an aggressive one. He's slowly pecking away their life. It's not doing nothing. He is giving his best.
That skill's not ready.
But so far I haven't felt a need to use Overguard yet. So that's pretty good. And then where's another one? So does Solal offer us a tribute in loot, or is this just gonna be cookie for effort? Eldritch Hounds. Didn't think we should see Eldritch Hounds until the next encounter, but well, not gonna tell the witch gods what they should do, of course. Let's see. We got a blueprint for Blight. The master stroke of the 9 plagues of Dreek. Arguably maybe better for the Guardian of Dreek, but random drops were not arguing with him. +1 to all skills in Occultist, so that is a nice one to learn. We got ourselves another nice shiny stone, so that's going to be shiny stone number 2. And Hidden Path of Solal. You have traveled far, Seeker, and seen much. But still, the veil between worlds blinds you to deeper truths. You stumble about the worlds we inhabit, eager for answers that the Empire and its luminary deny. They think us heretics, followers of false gods, yet none of them can claim to have witnessed the power of their deities, their illusions. Show me the cripples that Menhir has cured, the armies that Oleron has toppled, the beasts that Mogdrogan spared from the hunt. You cannot, because they are not real. But the witch gods, born of man, had ascended to raise us from our own ignorance. If you are willing to listen, they may open your eyes as well. You now stand before the shrine of Solal, the youngest of the 3. Eldritch fire is at his behest, the very essence of the Eldritch realm his to mold and shape as he sees fit. Clothed in black robes that hide his gaunt frame, Solal glides unseen through the shadowy veil to hunt unwitting mortals for their vitality. Many a devout of Solal has been asked to make the ultimate sacrifice, to present themselves before the dark god and offer their life so that Solal may bestow his infinite wisdom upon those that remain. You, worthy seeker, do not yet have the attention of the gods, but know that with each step you take, you bring yourself closer to the 3. Go now to the frozen lands of the north, where primitive tribes had constructed standing stones ages ago. Armed with the words of Solal and Dreek, the way shall be open to you. So, we kill more cookies. And after that, off to the snow with us. Well, first I have to defeat this. Yes. Good. So, snowy areas. Astakarn Road. I believe it was the Astakarn Valley area. Then we head northwest. Just double checking the map. Yes, so just behind the shrine should be a note. So I think the first time through for most of these hidden things I did try to search. But eventually, if you're not really a person that enjoys puzzles and clever level design and things like that, simply just checking the wiki for where to go, or one of the numerous websites that actually has some maps for Path of Exile. It makes life easier and less frustrating. So, while we are here, we might as well just loot all the things. Oh, wait, I forgot a witch doctor here.
That skill's not ready.
Yeah, I like that. Look, a crumbling wall. And there is a hidden path, desecrated. And speaking of desecrated, let's do something with a corpse. Let's see, another note. The sight before you may bring you pause, Seeker, and rightfully it should, for the ignorant followers of Mogdrogan had found their way here. The defilers entered our ritual grounds, befouled the shrine, and threatened our secrets. Revenge was swift and justified. Know that their entrails littered the valley, but remained scattered for the mountain yetis to fight over. Fear not, seeker of the hidden path, for the way forward is secured. Return to the Ostrakarn road and follow it southeast. Underneath the Legion ramparts, the marked stone awaits. If you are truly sent here by the three, then the way to Bismiel shall open to you. So, back to the snowy areas underneath the ramparts. I think it was over there or over there, yes. So let's portal in that general direction, see if this gets us closer. So we'll just walk over, we'll climb up on the ramparts and then go back down. I believe the reward for undertaking this entire thing is going to be an attribute point and a skill point. So those are useful things to do. Even though it's a little bit of a wild goose chase. Well, if there's skill points on the line, then of course I think most people are willing to go quite far in order to get them. Even if it means having to play a little bit of a world explorer. Let's see. Take out the necromancer. Ah, they did topple over the edge. Poor necromancer. Hello, Fleshhawk. How are you today?
That skill's not ready.
Let's see, deal with these guys, and then go downstairs. Mightily inscribed band. Okay, and down there somewhere we should be able to go underneath. This is an interesting way to just reuse some of the game world. I think someone is actually throwing ice at us. It's your main Ravager. So this is already off the beaten path, and then of course we got a stone here that opens to us. Who knows? Eldritch Stormchaser.
I can't do that yet.
Lightning Breath. Yeah, the final one was in a cave, if I remember correctly. Oh, of course, we still have to head over there. Hello. Nice doggy. Good doggy. Rather dead doggy. And indeed, this is a cave. With the Arcanist, this was the most dangerous of the three. Just see if there's anything else on the path. Since we might be moving around a little bit here in order to kite if we need to, then creating a little bit of space seems like a wise thing, because otherwise if you're running you get add-ons from spiders, which is of course the way the level is constructed. In our case though, we're pretty decent at blocking attacks, and I think these arachnids are not really happy with how we are dealing with their attacks, since we're shrugging them off and they are not. And then we can finally assault the Guardian of Bismiel. And then of course it might turn out that this fight is not as scary as I had initially expected it to be. Because of course If you prepare for something that you think is going to be difficult, it turns out rather okay. And conversely, if you think something is going to be easy, it might be the thing that kills you. Lesson there is, of course, to over-prepare, never underestimate. That way, you can never say that you didn't give it your all. And from the looks of it, we are indeed just dealing rather well with this content. This is a level 52 Guardian, 6 levels above us. He's got a huge sum of life, but we are dealing rather decently with it. And he's not dealing decently well with our life pool. That said, there might be some evolutions in its strategies or damage output. Are now using Overguard to protect our life, and that is actually pushing us back up, but his damage output was getting a bit on the higher end. So Overguard is once again available to us. I think we got this now. It's not like this is that these fights are very mechanically interesting. It's just a boss that does a fair chunk of damage, has a ton of life, and it's just going to be a war of attrition. And we got ourselves an attribute point for finding all 3 guardians. And of course we're going to assign it to Physique. At last, brave seeker, you arrive at the final shrine, the sacred grounds of Bismiel the Schemer. Through her vast web of servants, Bismiel tugs on the strings of fate that bind us all. It was she who taught the first cultists in the art of binding eldritch beings, and it is through her machinations that the Empire is still aimlessly hunting us to this day. Their inquisitors confounded by the endless weave of decoys and dead ends. Only a chosen few are privileged to witness even a portion of the schemer's vast network, and even they could never comprehend it in its entirety if given the opportunity. By reaching this far, you too are now a part of Bismiel's web, forever bound to what you have seen and heard. In your hands you now possess the secrets to the Temple of the Three. If you are prepared to commit your very existence to the witch gods, then follow the clues contained therein. Your destiny awaits you at the sanctum. So, we got a 3rd stone, the Stone of Bismiel. It's a runestone carried by the followers of Bismiel. There is an inscription along the edge, and so, by the light of the eastern star, the 3 joined together at their sanctum. Bound by divine blood, their quarrels put to rest, the covenant of the 3 was forged. So, I know that we have to go to the East Marsh in order to find them, and also know exactly where in the East Marsh we have to be. And that is why we started this episode by having a chat with Anasteria and getting a quest to take out the Bone Hunter, because that is going to be in the general vicinity. But this episode has been going on for long enough, so it is here in the cave in the hidden path that I will thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next time when we venture forth to the sanctum of the 3 and the East Marsh. Bye bye.